Alright, we are going to be looking at dividing radicals that have more than one term in the denominator. Basically, we're going to be dividing by a binomial. We are still going to multiply top and bottom by the exact same thing, but this time we're going to be multiplying by the conjugate. And right here in this box is the definition of conjugate. It is the same terms but a different sign between them. So if you have 3 minus 4i, the conjugate is 3 plus 4i. So when you come down here to this first letter A, we have 2 divided by root 5 minus 1. So we are going to multiply by the conjugate, which would be the root 5. That term stays the same, but then it's going to become plus 1. Now, what we multiply on the bottom, you also multiply to the top. So as you can see, we're going to multiply top and bottom. We are going to have to distribute on the top. So 2 times root 5 is going to be 2 root 5. And then 2 times the 1 is going to be 2. So we're going to get 2 root 5 plus 2. Now, on the bottom, you can either do a box or you can distribute. It is up to you. I'm going to set up a box, though. Alright, so as you can see my box set up here, we have root 5 and negative 1, and then root 5 and positive 1 that we are multiplying together. Root 5 times root 5 is the square root of 25, which simplifies down to just 5. Root 5 times negative 1 is going to be negative root 5. Then we have to do root 5 times positive 1, which is going to be positive root 5. And then we have negative 1 times positive 1, which gives us negative 1. Now, what should always happen if you do this correct is that these two roots that you have in your box will cancel out. Positive root 5 and negative root 5 cancel down to 0. So then all we end up with is 5 minus 1. 5 minus 1 is 4. Now, just like before, we need to check to see if we can simplify. So can we tree down this root? No. Can we look at all of our regular numbers? Are all of them divisible by the same thing? Well, between 2, 2, and 4, they are all divisible by 2, so we can simplify down by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so we have 1 root 5, plus 2 divided by 2 is 1, and on the bottom, 4 divided by 2 is 2. Notice how I had a binomial in the top, I still have a binomial in the top, I had a monomial in the bottom, and I still have a monomial in the bottom. Okay, you need to reduce all terms by the same number before you get your final answer. Alright, for this next one, again, you have to focus on the denominator. That's where the radicals cannot be. So we have a root 3 minus 2. We are going to multiply top and bottom by root 3 plus 2. So you're going to multiply top and bottom by root 3 plus 2. Now, because the numerator in this case is a binomial, you're going to want to make a box for both the top and the bottom. Go ahead and pause this video, do that part on your own, and then turn it back on so you can check your work. Alright, check and see how you did. The numerator is going to have nothing that can be combined, so it is going to be one giant numerator. For the denominator, you should have had a negative root 6 and a positive root 6 that cancel, and then you should have had a 3 minus 2. 3 minus 2 gave you the 1 in the denominator. Now you need to check, can every single thing be reduced by the same number? Well, we have a 3, a 3, a 2, a 2, and a 1. There's nothing that can reduce all of those numbers. The only thing you can do is you do not have to write the 1. You can just write this numerator as your answer. But that's totally up to you. So again, all you're doing for these is you're looking at the bottom and you are multiplying by the bottom with the opposite sign in the middle. Now it does not matter if this starts out negative, this would be negative here. The only thing that changes is the sign in the middle. So what I want you to do now is finish the practice problems and the last page, which is the summary, where you have to say, is the fraction simplified or not? And that goes in general. So like here's the one you can see that goes with this notes packet, but then you got to use your prior information to figure out if these other ones are simplified. I would like you to hand this whole thing into the basket once you are done. Finish the practice problems and the summary page and hand it in. Have your partners help you and make sure you have the same answers before you hand it in. See you tomorrow.